So we come back from lunch, the New Year's Day, from my aunt's house at Tembisa. So we come back and I'm going to drop off the rest of the people when I'm in the line. So to my surprise, I open my eyes, I wake up, my house is on fire. You know, I didn't grow up with both parents in one place. And I want to correct that. You know, abantu vele uvesibajabulile kungena imanager hayibo. Athi baba labafana ba-18 futhi bathethisa badala bazabo. Le cleaner yilungise le computer. Engilandela thatha iphini. Ithi ufunani lapha ngoba wena uyathini. Thatha iphini. The job is over. Yo. I used to have a theme song that I used to sing, and every time men clean, I would sing that song. And you know the song, it goes, love what you do and do what you love. That was my theme song. I used to sing that song.
Another day, another dollar, another episode, another podcast, another opportunity to inspire and transform lives. Eitahola, Shapfere, welcome to another exciting episode of the Quantum Podcast. I-podcast yasekasi, i-podcast yomphakathi, i-podcast yabantu, i-podcast yomhlaba wonke jikelele. Bafethu, we are coming to you live from Emitrend. Vandag siphumile ekasi akusiyorenkela esabapha. And as always, bafethu Nxabi akenze ngivaye ngi-1. So on the passenger seat vandag ngiphethe the one and only Zali Nxabi. Ladies and gentlemen, niyacava ukuthi abantu abathofile siba-introduce kanje plus namhlanje ngiphethe i-boardroom table. So asiyenze sishayile sihlale sishaya ngakhona drum roll. Ladies and gentlemen, let us put our hands together for Zali Nxabi. Mr. Zali.
Good.
Welcome to Quantum Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Hayi siyabonga. Gcineni ngigibele taxi but.
Eish. Ukuyidriver ukugibela.
Ukugibela nje kuba phakathi kwe-taxi.
Well nginayo, nginekhumbi, so I don't know if that adds up to it.
Oh, okay. I see
the stuff bus.
Ukuba phakathi kwe-Quantum uthi ngiyekhem lo.
The last time I was in a taxi as a commuter was in 2009. Yeah, 2009. I think my car was stuck and I needed to get to the office. I was still employed at the time. And yeah, I think that was the last time I was in a taxi.
2009, 2019. It's over a decade. Yeah. Yo!
But 15 years ago.
Welcome back to the Quantum.
Thank you. It's part of the Quantum.
Aware. So, what is Uzali put?
Where do we start? Zali is a son of God. Mm-hmm. I think he's a son that was brought up by the community. And yes, I'm my mother and my father's son. Mm-hmm. Born and bred in Mhlaking in the West Rand.
Okay.
I think the first 17 years of my life I've lived there. One of which actually I stayed in Mhluzi for 1 year, in the year 2000.
Okay.
In Middleburg.
Yeah.
I came back to Joburg to complete my studies in 2002. And then I moved to Tembisa, and I've been in the East Rand all my life.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I'm about Tembisa anyway.
Well, I can deem myself as part West Rand, part Tembisa, because both halves of my life I've lived in both places.
Okay.
Yeah. So yes, I am a Tembisa, and I'm still also Mfana Mhlaking.
Asibuyele kancane Mhlaking yabo.
Yeah.
Take us through your upbringing. Uzalo mncane ukhula ekasi bekachuna.
Hambani futhi ngaleso. Very naughty child. Look, we were the last generation in apartheid. I was born in 1985.
Okay.
So I mean there was still the uprising, sasenama riots ekasi. And I mean growing up I come from a very large family. Namkhulele kwakhokho.
Yo.
And kwakhokho.
Not even kwakhokho.
Yeah, kwakhokho. And growing up kwakhokho, I think there were about 28 of us in the house. Cousins, uncles, my dad, me, my sister, and all my other cousins, uncles and their kids. we grew up in a very humble home. Endlini yesonto. Utatomkhulu was a very big, well-known mfundisi.
Okay.
Bambiza ubaba undaba zabantu. And I mean, I could almost say we had a family church because 80% of the people in church were from the same house.
Sure.
You know? But yeah.
But I believe that's how you build a church, eh?
You know? So we grew up in a very humble home. Look, thina sikhuliswe ngenhlonipho, sikhuliswe ngokumazi uNkulunkulu. And you know, I was just a naughty child like everyone else. Gibela ihlahla, sitshontsha amapentshisi wabantu. You know, very good in academics. I'm from the Pandulwazi Primary, which was a school literally opposite my great grandmother's house. So bengiphume egate ngene egate lesike.
Moganga bakupayise church.
Lalela bakupayise church no shower esikolweni no shower. Uye kwamamkhulu bakuthume no shower khona. Nisho ukuthi wenzeni, you know? And then grew up in very good sports, besidlala athletics, all of those things. Ngikhule with my cousins again, some of my childhood friends who are still my friends today.
Sure.
And moved to high school at Parma Senior Secondary, and that's when a lot of things started. I think my first appearance on TV was Jim Ailey. And I was
which generation Jim Ailey?
Yeah, I was in grade 8.
Sure. Which one?
So I went to a lot of auditions. Never made it to the auditions, but I was always a part of the audience. Because a friend of mine, who was also in high school with me, used to work at Jim Ailey.
Okay.
Thabiso Makget. Okay. So, we started there, and then I was first from class. I think I was doing grade 9. Ngalandwe class during the day by the same guy with Thabiso Makget. Attended bayakufuna mele siye kuma audition we theater play.
Sure.
This was grade 9. I was 14 years old. So nyahamba now we are taken to this place Mfulo by Busy 5 Roses. I get there, to my surprise, now was Putlas Bukhudi.
Sure.
Now Somi's in Flow.
That's so pushing now.
You understand? I'm pushing way too actually. No Patrick Shy they got.
Yeah.
No munyu sister bathu Lucky Ngojo. No munyu baba bathu Peter Shindebele isibongo saka Peter. He was the owner of the production called the Soweto Youth Drama Society. And we were auditioning for a play called Bonagele.
Okay.
And I got there and I auditioned. Because Eskela and Akona, just to track back, we also had drama. So I think we started from the drama as Eskela. I think Mr. Chawe was the leader of the drama class. Okay. But we started from that, my audition. And I made it. I became a part of the cast. Bonagele. And there's some profound actors. There's quite a lot of them that are in the industry now that we started with them. And so every now, Saturday and Sunday, I would be fetched from Edladleni. In fact, Bekala Friday, it was Slanda Friday, schooling after school, see Mfulo for rehearsals. Then Saturday, see Alandwa Vie, go to Mfulo for rehearsals for the whole day, so it's Sunday. So I never had idling weekends where I'm sitting doing nothing. Because every weekend, I go to Saturday school. After Saturday school, I go straight to some move from Soweto to Saya Johannesburg, Nxabi Theatre. There was a place called, what is it called? I just forgot the name. And Zolkumbula Manjan, I'll tell you, it's just running away from me. Okay. So we used to go there for a rehearsal. So we Hambi Josie every weekend as a 14-year-old. And we auditioned, we did that drama, I think, November that year. Then we performed a Hector Peterson Memorial Theatre. And that was the beginning of everything for me. Year 2000, I think my parents thought I'm too into this arts thing. And, back then there was this meet, they lose themselves. And they took me away from that. So I was in Middleburg for the year 2000, just so I could get out of this whole thing, showbiz, because my dad thought it wasn't good for me.
Sure.
And remember, I was getting paid at the time,
And you are?
Yeah, I was calling about 50 rand a day. In 1999.
In your paso?
Yeah, 1999, I 50 rand a day. And
so
that means we got 200 rand a week. Because I would get called Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So when we are paying 152 clip, Ngeviki. So but lucky because we we never had this thing imali yothenga bogwayi those things started sesibadala. And yeah, so the life of theatre started. I came back from Mpumalanga 2001, and No, 2001 December. 2001, the 1st of January, my house burns down. And I'm the only one in the house. So we come back from lunch, New Year's Day, from my aunt's house at Tembisa. So we come back and I'm going to drop off the rest of the people when I'm in the line. So to my surprise, I open my eyes, I wake up, my house is on fire. But I'm locked inside the house. Because it's scared. Then pay TV.
Sure.
You know, I remember we had Bob TV. So when Tanu Pega would check China, and I was watching, I fell asleep. Imagine a 14-year-old me. I open my eyes, there's smoke everywhere, and I can hear sounds of fire. So I tried to scream for my dad because I'm thinking, so maybe what if the house is on fire, now I can't get out. No, I just remembered there was a spare key being somewhere room divided. I got that, garage. As I got out, the whole roof of the house collapsed.
Damn.
So my first version of trauma starts there.
God is great, eh?
You are still young. You know, things like therapy, things like, you don't know how those, this way you move on. Yeah.
What was the cause of fire?
Until today is unclear. We know that it was man-made because they found the actual main meter, Yamans, was closed off so that when you try and extinguish, Adnamans. So we know that it was man-made, but I don't know. I never followed up. You know, what really happened.
Okay.
You know, section you know.
Sure. Want the government.
Yeah, I myself with my stepmother and my dad, my aunt and grandmother and my siblings, you know.
Sure.
So the house burns down. Now I have to go back and her husband, may his soul rest in peace, in an RDP house. No,
okay.
Actually, down the road from my father's house. So, my house was the second one from RDP Kalakon Extension 7. Now I have to downgrade from having my own bedroom to going to share a 1-bedroom house with a family of 4.
When am I happy? Time ali happy?
Itimali buyela kwagogo. Liyoblonga kwagogo. Lasikhulele khona.
Do you still have the same picture? I mean, do you still have a picture at time?
I remember when he arrived, he ran to the house to try and save me with all the people. He was worried about me because they had to pull him out of a burning house. Do you understand? So I'm done about them because he wanted to go into the fire. I saved me. So I remember that picture very vividly. I know for a couple of days before we moved, I went to go stay at my friend's house with his parents. And about a week later, my other friend. And remember, all I had was the clothes I was wearing. Nothing else. You know, everything of mine perished.
Sure.
And so then the decision was made, I'm going to move in with my mom and my stepdad. Stepmother. Now I'm going to move in with my mother and my stepdad.
Yeah.
But now this is it's literally, what you had was one room, the toilet. So umbedela, and then minanglala pansi, and that was it. That was the setup. So we stayed there. I think I lived there for the whole of 2001. When I was about to write my exams, 2001, I moved back now to my great-grandmother's house.
Okay.
Now where everything started. Moved back there, and then into 2002, finished my matric. And after writing my last paper in matric, my one cousin at Tembisa, around. You know, I remember there was a wedding. So after the wedding, I was like, nah, man, as far as son gets at Tembisa, good December, matric, as far as to spend with December at Tembisa. That's fine. Did that, get to Tembisa. That's why I train, I remember. Get to Tembisa. First encounter, figure out. Likasilpis. I go venture, I go take, I go bend, and imagine.
Welcome to 16th
Temple section, corner house, a straight line.
Sure.
So you can match. Takes your car. Man, go busy. Man, everyone is busy. Corner your teniswa. Hey man, lay buy something lay in car wash. So in my mind, I'm sitting there, I'm going, you know what? Language corner nyaza kana plan ukuthi ngizoeva city mina ngicede isikele. Because the time alisasipani balitrenchile, angisena kithi idladla balishisile. Ukubuyela la man doesn't make sense. Mengabloma ngayi I'm sure man something can happen.
Busy
busy malana manilanga lonke. Sharp. That day I know couple cousin yami they were painting the house of us Tuma edrobheni. Kusase eHyperama kungabi festival mall. So thengi band. So ngise trainini vele yabona sivange train. Si Hyperama. Let's figure Hyperama man. I'm looking behind. Ngibona Captain Park from behind yabo. Hyperama beyisaphelela la kuyicheckers ko. Yeah, festival bangaka. Sure. Imani yabona man now my family lana. Itrain ibhizi abantu bayahamba. Nginema la kunama opportunity la. Something can come out of this. Nah, let me stick it out yabo. Lando mamkhulu ngithi manje ngicela ukubloma after December. Ngizama ukuthola isipani ngayi. All good and well ntwana yami ngabloma kuna flop. Sithole itrampoline. Sithole itrampoline idambana asirana umbhambo. Egate. Sibe umbhambo we killed it. We killed it. Ngama 5
ngiyacaba umbhambo wakho mara bengasuwa.
We killed it. Nabo jabu yawo. Mfana umbhambo yarana, umbhambo yarana. So abo jabu they still in school. Mina yimo qede isikela. So emini sikade umbhambo and then ujabulani uyesikela ntambama bayabuya siyagijima yabo. Endlini ihlala kusishako yonke into grand. I think 2003 goes in now. We obviously start looking for a job here. Yabo, akuhlangani. I remember my one friend Usfiso, may his soul also rest in peace. Baba ke bekana maband, so bekathanda ukwahiresela ama funeral phala ngama weekend, for my funeral. And we started doing that. On Saturday, we let bands in your show, family car.
So drive bands.
Drive bands.
License with you.
Don't license. Yeah. When I out to people, la private street line begani kawash. Best during the week, I'd boy help him out, wash his car. Then amanya machita would get there, I'm over in Chawa, wait, and Safungo case and Kalumbambeleo, no, and it was fascinating for me. You shaipe, collect some 250, which 250 local. Sure, yeah. You know? And that goes by.
There must have a venture money, and still was singing circle.
No, chokers. Yes, we were not even there. That's the thing. Funny enough, we were not even there. I had a girlfriend then, but she was in high school in Katumetric, we were to so when you were just chasing the bear. Do you understand? Meaning is here for your opportunity. I want to make it in life because I've got all these pictures in my mind of what I see myself as and who I see myself as. And man, I'm frustrated because man yazibona manale pencil nale PM le nyayibona le dlahle ngifuna ukubloma kulo emari ku player angina plan angina next ngisekazi jo ngifika kanjani esaba angina plan yesigela ngithumela ama CV but with matric usithola lapha isipani remember besithanda ukuya boma Kempton Square so ufuna ipani boma Pick n Pay
sure
fana zithi let me backtrack so December 2002 ngivakashela outcome saqala lento zethu zokurapper yabo because vele ngifikela ngomrapper.
Oh okay.
So we started a group nomajita called Crucial Conflict. Besihamba. In fact we even have demos. I still have my demos still too. Besihamba.
We are fair out.
So these 3 guys in this crew yabomrapper sikhule sonke. And now I'm the friend to Nxizwa. Nxizwa is friends with Donald and Donald is opposite no Sipho. And then Willie, same street no label, and then Willie was a friend with another guy. So we formed a group called Crucial Conflict. We formed this group, so it was one thing that kept us going. Shama Saifa, we attend our concerts, your rapper, and people, we started gaining traction. People started loving us,
So local.
The one guy who kept Kamalakis, I remember.
Local was blowing now.
At the time, Squad Camp Yashisa, Hidden Force Yashisa.
Sure.
We had It's Wonderful was one of the biggest tracks at the time.
H2O.
Yeah, H2O was one of the biggest tracks at the time. And while pushing that, now I'm visiting the one friend with Donald. So you're a rapper. And suka kabo Donald, siyavaya siyakabo Nxizwa, sihleli ngaphandle. Now starts abo Nxizwa sibhekene neWinnie Mandela. But it's the last 3 that's a Tsepo extension.
Sure.
Bana sihleli lapha ebondeni there these 2 girls. Badlula from eWinnie badabula lapha bangena ngeNtsepha, yabo? Badlula ngasebukamuso. Blomela majita uyalong line I'm like, man. Hawona kusisi laba bayithiwa badlula. The guy start laughing. Wow. Nita, what's fun? But the one neighbor got Donald. The other one is Donald's niece.
Okay.
Niti, When Abdallah Mizagina Zang and Bontomazano, doing no sister love. Serious, I no sharp, I no flop. Later on that day, Sikabo Donald. Now she comes out of the house. Oh, right, sharp. And it was towards New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve, can you please join us? I don't know, sharp, no flow. I never saw her again until the 3rd of January now, 2003. So there was another gentleman, so you would cook for the kids, then ababize kuye bazodlabo. So nami ngizwakale ngizoshaya around nangera, so awumfethu New Year's Eve angibonanga hayi sharp akuna next sharp. And I think she was in high school. She had just started matric at the time, but she was dating, umjolo wasesikela. High school umjolo.
Sure.
Ayimfana ngithi ngiyazikhulumela tajo. I'm with someone, mara nanto enzakala. It's like nje siyajola ngoba yabo. Singabantwana besikela. Sharp. We became friends, very close friends. Very close friends, become friends. But uyabona ngiloku ngiyashare. Ngapha simpintsho. Bang friends onile phela. This thing goes on for 9 months. Yeah. Now 9 months sengibuyele back to Nxabi because manje am opportunity wahlangana, yabo. I'm back now emhlakeni. Ngibuyele kukhokho. Ngiblomile that's why I'm like, hayi wena manje mele ngizame planning ayi yokuthola isibani because nothing is working. I get a call 19 September. Yakhumbula there was those days thanda kwamamele wa-FM, like it was the only station you listen to. Dlala indaba ngiyachina la kwagogo.
At the prime of FM.
It was 11 o'clock.
Sure.
And I remember we show yaka PNDG.
Okay.
FM. It was 11 o'clock kudlala indaba. Indaba ezindaba zingena. Landline yakhala. And landline yasendlini beyihlale kamereni la gogo.
Okay.
So gogo yangimemeza, Zali, phone call. Ayingava. Mengibambi phone. Hello. Hi, kunjani sharp? Ilo muntu lo. How grand sharp. Kuse public phone. Phone engena bob. Ate Jomna bengifonela ukuthi we can try this thing. I think it will work.
Okay.
Remember now, mina ngicede isikela last year, in 2003 she's in matric. Nithi usirious athi lalela, let's give it a shot. Right there and then ngicede clean ntwana. Ngathole 850 eticket le train, ngagibela itrain ngayithembisa. Ngafika la so ke ngathi now that I'm here, let's start this thing. So we started dating. And it was around the time we got Palama prelims because it was 11 September 2003.
Hey, it's cut some public food.
So sharp, we start pushing these things at all. For the first time in my life, I felt what love was. I could feel it. It's something I couldn't explain, but I felt it. So this is what they mean. Maybe to muntu yamthanda. So this is what it means. Okay, I know this feeling and I'm gonna hold on to it. Start making future plans around that feeling. Man. No, I didn't grow up with both parents in one place. And I want to correct that,
Okay.
And I think this is the person I can build a family with.
Sure.
So that the picture that I have of a family, I can recorrect it for the generations to come. And I think this is the right person. And lo and behold, we push this thing. Now, ZT 2004, reality starts. Manji, back to January. She's done with matric. This is now my second year being done with matric. I want to plan. Umpampu moshekile, insimbi ziyashota, so asena plan. Now the harsh reality now, it comes, like you are now an extra mouth to feed in someone else's house. Things are not working, so a decision is made. You might have to go back home because, as you can see, we're struggling.
Yep.
Things are not, and imagine you as an extra mouth, it's not working,
And now we are born not Kiapet.
Bro. You can't force it. I think a week after that, the one guy when repana ibathunzizwa he comes. It's like empethu, emani ngisipana la airport angithi uyazi. Bafuna abantu la airport mfana. Asibaye. Yabo? Ngithanda ntwana siye mfana airport sibafuna abantu because my idea of airport was this glamorous place. Abantu bagqoka ama uniform, bahola grey.
Wonke umuntu, everyone. Sure.
Mfana ngiye airport. uNkulunkulu came through for me. Tinye airport. Siye airport. Mara manje siye airport. Siye Kempton Park. Masifike Kempton Park ngibona le company ibhalwe workforce. Mara la kusise airport. La yindlu umuntu. Ngiyabona mfana kugcwele la yabo. Ayisiyangena vele kulela hlasha. Ayifika uthi ngibona kwenzakalana. Basibhalisa some test nyana la basifilisa ama form what. And then what the exercise ngo6 sinifuna yi. Hayi grand sharp ngibuyele ekhaya. Angibuzi next. Following thing shaya train ive ngiyabuyele workforce. Mangifika lapha yana black overall ama boots nama reflect. Abhalwe workforce. Bathi ngenani ku level. Singene eveni. Nawo ma 6 kukhulu. Amaveni alandela nase airport. Ngiyayibona manje airport.
Linda way.
So when aeroplane close range. Ngise airport.
Sure.
Basifaka kulinye igate bathi kusechali gate asiyangena la. Sigibele linye ibhasi eli red and green. elinye lakudala mara yilo elikusa through ama-aircraft to the other side of the airport yabo basifake ngana bathi do you know why you are here? I have no clue. Mina ngithe ngizosebenza e-airport.
Sure.
But no, you guys are baggage sorters. Baggage sorters. Wobani labo bantu? But yini nipaka amabheke ema-aeroplane?
Okay.
I've never come across such. I didn't even know ukuthi ibheke lipakwa umuntu e-aeroplane. Hey, bheke aeroplane, not sharp. It seems easy enough, so ishara already. But you are hola 850 per hour. But you are not permanent.
Yeah.
You are full staff. So nina ningabomangenela sinifaka mangabe we are overstaffed. We are understaffed.
Oh yeah, understaffed, sure.
So ningena ngama yabo ema-flightini and then uzohola 850 per hour if ubiziwe. Moja siyangena pha.
So kuyenzeka ufike esipanini ujike
ungabizwanga. Buma 2 days. Because uphuma late ama-train sewavayile uyithatha imali taxi.
Ayikho.
Yangithe? So uyogidla la emabhankini.
Sure.
Uzozama via kusasa.
Sure.
Benginokuvama for 3 days.
Ungabuyi endlini.
Ungabuyi endlini. But no, khumbule I was an extra mouth too.
Sure.
So I had to find a place to stay.
Yeah.
So
and
we
manje mo gilira ubhank stool or half rent.
Do you understand?
Sure.
But manje ngibuyela girlfriend yami ngithi mfethu ishukune flop. I might have to leave this job I just got because anginanda uyoblo. You know what she said? Let me go speak to my grandmother. Uzolala esofeni yasekhaya on the days that you are back home. Khulume nomagogo athi ayitswe ayina flop. At least uthole something yokwenza yabo. Ayina flop. So I stayed in that couch yakhabo medium for a month. No, ngiloko ngizama. Phela ngaholi. Mfethu inyanga yaphela basiholisa ngamashare. I didn't have a bank account. Check yami yangena, it was 512 rand. I was the most excited guy ever. 512 engiyisebenzele ngezami izandla. Anginenyuka. Vanye absa ngishintshe bankaye vele inyuku yami yabuya. Mangibuya vele ngigaya ugirlfriend. Emfethu phela nayi le mali ngithunile. Mayisenza kanjani? Girlfriend was like, you know what? Lento kuhlala esofeni la gogo wami is not sustainable. Ugogo wami wangala emakhulweni from my father's side. So mama kababa unama room. Ithi yongiringela naye uqasha iroom ngala and then uzokwazi ukuphusha into zakho. Okay, sharp siye kugogo athi iroom nalo likhona. Iroom 250. Sharp nayi 250 yokuqala ivayile. Ngisele manje ngaleshe. Thenga into zokugeza, thenga itikiti le train was 75 rand monthly. Thenga itikiti le train, ngibhayi bribe pack e1, ngibhayi impuphunyana ubaba kasebenzi, yabo? Ntonyana ezincane. Ugela athi ne man, umbhedo wami wakudala. Uzocofa ngikhulume nogogo. Ka umbhedo wakhe single bed. Ka umbhedo wakudala beka ne radio nyana engaka beka bamela ngayo Wi-Fi bathi blow punk. Ngigayile radio. Athi awuzoncenga. Bangayi isitsha sokugeza, Dina Ross. Bangayi isitsha sensimbi sokugeza izitsha. Sorted. At the time, I think to my name, I only had 2 pants, 2 t-shirts, 1 jersey, and a sweater, a Sprite. Those are the only clothes I had at the time. Miriam, she had some pocket money, as the old lady, no limbegela nyana. Nyakhumbula, she went to Mr. Price, and paila machino nyana I2, and paila I2. Yabo? Sharp, push airport. 2nd month now. Yaqala, ngisho manje sengivanga itrain ngesipane ne room lami phela manje. Ayina flop. Mid 2nd month. Same guy lo ngifake airport uyabuya via intwana bheka man. Mina manje ngimuvele ku cleaning department and kuma cleaners abaholi 8 rand bahola 11 rand 50 per hour. And uspana Monday to Friday ungena 1 weekend lenye weekend awungeni. And during the week usebenza ama office hours ungena ngo7 ushayisa ngo5. Ngidabona le yazwakala and ne rate yakhona yabo ikhulu cleaners. Ngene kuma cleaners. I used to have a theme song that I used to sing, and every time clean, I would sing that song. And you know the song, it goes, love what you do and do what you love. That was my theme song. I used to sing that song. And remember, I had no headphone, I had no phone, I had nothing. Bengicula nje out loud. It was my motivation. Yo, I would clean up 100 meters of this ground. So, which in bed, inside my toilet, inside my locker room. And I used to sing that song, love what you do. Angis clean like grand. One Saturday, ngenile ngisespanini. So there's this big control center laba controller khona ama flight, yabo? Controller ama flight ikhona. Ukuthi who's going to be saving which flight you land, which parking bay and whatnot. Kunala ma computer rana la ma riding liza green leziya. And SC1 base overheater, so we stand to reset la computer there. Yabo? Go there and find out one day, man. Because ikasi bese right ama city. So I knew you install a computer.
Umjita wasekasi.
Umjita wasekasi. Yazi computer. Uyakwazi ukuhlukanisa ihlanganise.
Udlala igame.
You understand? Uinstallele abanye abantu.
Operating system.
Ngala ma pirated CD la. Sure. So I had an idea. I want to mfana gesu ucimile. DJ as Spanish manual, but I know what the only reason why this thing is not working. The capital value in the computer overheat. Mvule riding the friend lane koropa ngayo ngithathe ngibeke la. Ngilike la computer span. My span so abantu vele uvese bajabulile kungena imanager la ibo. Athi babla abafana ba-18 futhi bathethisa badala bazabo. Le cleaner yelungisele computer. Engilandele athi touch permit. Ithi ufunani lapha ngoba wena uyadinga. Touch permit. The job is over. Fine. Saturday bangicuze vele ngiphume mfethu bangithathele permit ngivaye endlini ngifike ngimtshele hey Joe actually le room vele mantende ngiyagcina bangithathele permit ngiphaphile wenzeni mfethu bekumosha icomputer ngiyabona ama frustrated I knew what to do ngayipressa la computer yaspa so no ish kune flop hayi sharp ayina flop Joe will figure it out yo sharp
so now months uspan leso sikhathi
inyanga is 2 towards the end
yo
Joe I think that almost the mid third week of the second month. Angina phone so mina bengifuna babafonela email because uye beka ne phone. Bambelele bathi tshela lo muntu ukuthi ngifuna airport kusasekuseni. Sharp. Angizitshelana vele bangigaya lokusele kwami ichaya yabo. Shaya train ngivaye airport ngifike vele ngene. Mangifika laso bangimele vele nale ya permit yami bathi ngena. Bayangifuna. Ngifika manje senyema office na phezulu. Manje angisapheleli la inza. Daba shmela ninkinga la. Amangena manje awuzwa nesimele sakhona kunokugwaya la office. Ngena kule office le lokugcina le. Enyawuzwa lo muntu uyathethisa ngapha uthethisa abanye abantu ngala. Mina ngihlele reception yabo. Sengithukile manje ngidabona manje namhlanje ngilibona. Aphume lo muntu bamthethisa ngiselina lo siswe PA. Bathi hayi ungangena. Anyadwahla la. Ayayibona le out le. Yendi phethu kwa. Ebona manje kwatile frustrated ibhekene namaphepha be computer yabo kuningi athi asita mhlala nake into za ungene umunye sister wengama nomzimba so ngena hlalela phamba oh is this the guy how are you good thank you what's your name ngiyamtshela tell me what happened engicela ukhala mina ngiyaxolisa bafethu ngingabona yeyela leyo kwenzeka leyo ayimtshele no man control center bekune flop eliso mina bengishanyela so ngayibona le computer leyazi restart ngavula la icabinet ngayenza so waze kanjani kudadini so ngiyam explain no mara lento angisho thina la ngibuya khona may overheat avele yazi restart ukuthi is protect sifake ku safe mode yabo
yeah safe mode sure
bathule kancane le outing ibhekile ibhekana nalo sister angibheka wala welcome to the IT department yeah into kuthi uthile ukuthi ata come with me angimlandela bona manje mfana lento welcome to IT department uvenhla kuthini lokho khona angimlandela mangifika ngangena kwelinye office eli wide open hlela abanye bafana bamakhalati A1 eNdiya inhlaka bafana bamakhalati A1 engama nalo sister office lakhe lingana gama lakho Kenley Forbes
okay
I want introduce emachitini sifaka amatayi zonke sifaka mfana uyazibona ziclean sifaka amatayi sifaka amahembe yabo sihlelo omnye station sakhe lapha gents thini introduce yezo new colleague yeah unazwakala ngayi ezimbheke snacks le ntwana ziyangazi phela ngile cleaner lapha enzansi zimbheke snacks le ntwana lezi yabo ngine office lakhe yagcwalisa ngiyagcwalisa nama ngithi ngiyagcwalisa athi okay sharp ntwana yami vaya ngizokubona next week Monday sharp ngizokubona next week Monday athi ke like ayagcoka iformal yabo so wena thatha le letter le uya bank ufike ubabonise yena bazokwenzela ibank account thatha yona le letter le uvaye Edgar's uthenga impahla ngithi sharp akune flop
mara letter voucher
no like it's a letterhead ukuthi lo muntu akaspana ngicela nimvuleleni account
oh uvula account
yeah.
Understand
So ngiqale absa bangivulele account bangayi card la na iphini yakho sharp yavaya angina phone ngifike Edgar's bathi ngikunikeze le letter ne ID yami oh but congratulations ay nayi account yakho ke une 4,000 rand nami uthenga impahla hewe foskoro angene mfana Edgar's uvani wani ni girlfriend ya ngene mfethu umthatha amabhulukile kamahemba pink amatayi yabo ngimnandi presentable ay sharp sibuyele endlini manje ivele ngiyabuyela manje bengibuyela manje phela ngidlula kuphi la bengiclean kakhulu
sure
yeah wena mashanyela yini nawe manje sogqoka amakuyahlala yini ngapha ngitshela abantu amange lokushini meeting nisebenze airport ngigqoka amasuit kanti nizoclean badlula kanjalo ngiyaphezulu manje word start spreading around nelo umuthi kase IT Hey, kanjani? Phela ngibeka clean lo, yabo. Ashap ngene IT mfana, they taught me everything I needed to know about the systems, about aviation systems, you know. Taught me everything. Now come month end. Month end yafika. My figure month end. But sine tradition la ku department, every month end someone buys all of us lunch. Mita mara bafethi ngiyazi mina ngicela uqala angakhaya. Kodwa hayi uholile. Uholile. Okay, sharp. Mina ngijwayele la 1000 rand wama ngisho. But no value kuma terminal uyosibhayela ifonos uze nayo. Phela siya initiate. Angigijime ngema terminal. Cut ti balance. 5 gorillas.
Yo,
angeke. Public phone first ngifone le office ngithi mama ngathi kune flop. Le mali abayifakela mana ngathi kune flop athi hayi salary yakho.
Sure.
Nithi uthini? Ngathi ngathi angimuzwa lo mama ngi20000 iliphuma. Ngivanye phones. Swipe le nto ngithenga ukudla uyana ko ngikuphethe kanje ngiyangena ngiphethe le 1000 indaba futhi ngihole 5 gorilla. Abalibonanga yini? Afike kamindaba za next ngipushe over the months, you know, push, try to learn the systems. And you know it goes on. So imagine I ugcina ngitholela iSpani airport. But yena she's a check-in agent.
Okay.
So ithu siyaspana manje. Saploma kulela same room, yabo? Senginekani. Sibhayile. And ngibhaya kubani kuye lo boss wami uKingly Forbes. Bekane khosa ayothenga ipool. I bought a Corsa from her. And then I didn't have money to buy the Corsa. Atava uyebank ucela loan. Azogaphela wena soyaspana une payslip. Angene absa ngicela loan abanka. Yeah. Ngiqualify for lezinto. Thathele imali. Buy car ma'am, I'm not licensed.
So driving a taxi, license.
Now I'm in the airport 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the company gets liquidated. But like I've been there, I know everyone, you know, but I'm still an IT support guy. I'm pushing pay to the company gets liquidated. And I'm the last IT guy to leave the company. Manjabang Muvelava, one of the managers set up Hete. The company in Schengen, I bid first, bid A. So I worked there the whole of 2019 until December. December, sponsor pay.
Okay.
Nzoplomeka simanje 2010, 2011, and the beginning of 2012. Lose everything. Lose myself. My say you can't pay your account. You took a credit card. Things start going down. So the only thing I ran back to, ile akawash bengiploma kuyo. You push jwala every day. Ngilale ngitakiwe, vuka kusasa, do it again. Made frustrated. Saspana mara manje chini ukuthi ntwana, why uziyekelela? Why do you let depression do this to you?
Sure.
You know, to a point where she gets, you know what? Next time uzokuringa nami, kubuye sozazi ukuthi ubani. And manje sisinengosi. Sinengosi. Ayimfana ngiyazibona manje ukuthi angiyakhawatheka. And I remember that was one day ngiplomile.
And sorry to interrupt. In 2010, I went to Bagula Grand Con.
Choose
an opportunity. Yeah, World Cup. Umnandi. We're not depressed, we're frustrated.
Blind. Awuthiyame wena bonkosi usipana nesipari sakhe Cleckstop. Baphusha amathenda, yabo? Ingifonele lethu uthi randomly intwana. Awugibele uzala eCleckstop. Sibone usenzana. Hayi intwana kuna flop ngilandele into mfethu kune opportunity Cleckstop awuthi ngiye. Athi no vai. Ngivaye eCleckstop. Mangifika la vela ngithola ziyabuya. La uthina amathenda nama-operation abhayabo angifake into push. Now this is now the remainder of 2010, yabo? Push 2011 maybe until June tholi accident ngekaraganta tholi accident now things start going sour na yabona kusekho mnandi ngitayena let me go back and go start from scratch. Back to Timbis, still no plan, yabo? That's when I start now applying. Yabo ngena kuma website apply lapha. I get a call from this company recruitment, but no, this media company is looking for an IT guy.
Okay.
I go to Centurion for the interview, bank referral to the business owner. Go to Sasha Yoko, get you a company called Technish. Long story short, bank over there. Now I go and service a media company called Group M. So Group M has subsidiary companies in one office park.
Sure.
But all they do is media.
Okay.
Media buying and media planning and strategy. I get there, Mfana, I become a hit. Zali becomes that guy. Everyone knows him. He's very good at what he does. Everyone loves him, you know. So as the media gets vibey, you know, there's always parties and all of that. So we DJ mapatini. So we organize into zamachwana. We organize party.
Oh, did you look DJ Kareda?
I'm that guy. Not even. I was not even a DJ at the time. I'm that guy. You know, maybe so I know a guy. So people started liking me. And one of the directors at the time, Peter Munais, one Friday Skelepa is like to me, "One, you know, you are good at what you do, but I think your character is more of a media guy than IT guy. Don't you want to come this side?" Media? I think those are less. But anyways, let's give it a shot. Gives me the opportunity. I think about a couple of months later, now I resign from this IT company and joining media.
Okay.
And now I get there, they're like, "Hey, you are going to be an out-of-home specialist." What's that? No, you are going to be specialized in billboard, spotting, buying, and picking for clients. So you are going to be the one that tells the clients which billboards are good for their brand so they can advertise for their company. And you are going to plan that, find the owner of this billboard, pay that owner every month, make sure everything is done. That's what a billboard specialist is. That's when my life took a 360.
Sure.
Now, sengikhola grand, ngiphume ekasi, ngihlala eTerrenier, you know, I buy a decent car manje. Immediately after the airport. So move, I know now we have a second child. You know, things are looking up. I win my first award. I worked on ANC, then I worked on MTN partly, then I worked on GSK and Grand Power as my main account.
Sure.
Came up with some brilliant ideas. When I sent number one OTF in France, I get commended there, you know. Now you start becoming this guy, the industry is starting to know your name.
But that's why in France.
So you start becoming that guy. Now you're working on a lot more accounts, you get exposed to a lot of things. So span over KFC, span over DSTV, you know, you are an outdoor strategist. I start pushing from there. Long story short, I'm there now from 2012 till 2018.
Okay.
2018, something in me says, "Nah, man, I think now the edge of being your own guy has kicked in, you know."
Asibuyele emuva kancane.
Yeah.
Sizobuya ku-2018.
Yeah.
Like between 2012 and 2018, there was a scenario where there's a brand that said like I think it's a PM or a Mercedes. He said it doesn't cater for your cars. Then you took a camera, you captured images and
Deep stick research, that's what we used to do a lot.
Okay.
I remember when we put up the first Ford billboard, ST,
Yeah.
It was after we showed the client, but do you know how many STs are in the hood? Do you know how many people drive top range BMWs and you know? And many this is not in line with our brand. Because idea, no, it's not in line with the strategy, you know? And that used to frustrate me a lot.
Sure.
But one client, I think, you know, so I push. And that's when we managed to put the first billboard, ST, in the hood.
All right.
And that was a big deal for them.
Sure.
So yes, you know, some of the brilliant ideas that we've done for About Ed Hope, DSTV, MTN, we've worked on some amazing campaigns.
Sure.
I think that frustration in 2018, I'm like, you know what? I think I'm better off giving these ideas to the clients directly when I'm on my own.
Okay.
Sure. I'm probably hours everything. I was everything to everyone, you know. So it's not like there was something bad.
Okay.
I was 2. I was 3. I was 4. Serious? It's sure. But I know I enough. January was my last day. Farewell. I think about 3 or 4 farewells. Farewell, grand, back to Kasi. Back to Kasi, now it's a strategy of where do I start? A week later, I get a call from the same company I used to work for. But they were serious with billboard, but I'm working billboard. And that's where the Caprivi billboard came from.
Okay.
The company I used to work for, Mindshare South Africa, funded me to build my first billboard.
Oh.
And that's where it started.
Okay.
And we never looked back from there onwards.
Yeah.
And I remember Avatar, about 9 months later, I'm just so entrepreneur. Mara iplani aliko because every month so try to get salary. Manje salary is again every month. So the frustration starts again.
Sure.
Shit, did I make the right decision? Yabo? Lang eating ready to give up. Same for CV and sabang busy. Going kampa, waiting to spa. I meet my sister about Mandis. Mandisa koyama. Nse when you know when you turn about Gmail price, yabo? Nziplomelela. Frustrated. Angana nyuke case. Sister Limbona first day from outside. Zali, we are working on an ANC campaign. Ne Avatar, bemfuna umuntu wenza ama-wall mural. Ngithi yimlo yazi sister. Kone ngifuna wena. Hlalala, what's the office in Ixasu zongibona get there. Fana I get a contract in 9 months, over 200.
Yo.
And that was like a game changer for me.
Sure.
You know, that's when it starts.
You know, when
they started seeing the photorealism, where you can see what's on the picture, the way you call it, push that. And we pushed that for that 9 months. 2019, car accident. While everything is looking amazing, I now bought another house, I get a car accident. He made him 2 million. It was around 16 June. So I'm actually I had taken my Polo, so I really motonyane I-10. Mphume routing ikarza resisa oncoming getting as daughter too late ngisha side hit and run ikarame roll wele mgodini. My whole shoulder gets shredded.
Sure.
So I lose the usage of my shoulder completely. So my shoulder got replaced from here to here. So this part is artificial.
This part is artificial?
Yeah, from here to here.
Damn.
The tumble Alexis, this part is artificial. But the one thing that I did, when I got my first business, and this I'm going to urge to every young entrepreneur, don't ever take for granted to invest in your health. The one thing I did when I got the first piece of business, I reinstated my medical aid.
Okay.
And now when I got the car accident, I managed to be treated at a private hospital, high care, until I got my shoulder replaced. I went for surgery and all of that, and it saved me a lot. Because if things were different, very sure. You know, so I commend every young your health, your life. Those must be the first things you invest in before you wanna invest in the glitz and glam and go and wear expensive things and all of that. Invest in yourself. Yourself will be empowered to invest in your business, and that will always be the core denominator. Do that. Come out of hospital. We're in 29. I'm trying to rush through it now. 2019, and then I get a call again. In fact, we saw the old murals that you did. We're doing a tournament. Alexandra Asnamali. There's a company called Bedway. I'm like, no, let's have my money pilkins. Alex, but how we love your work. Love your work. I started working with them. My old murals, and fast forward, COVID starts. Already now, just fucking a digital screen, build more billboards. COVID starts, everything stops. Because who wants to advertise on partial engine? I want to mail emailing. I want to COVID iqalile ngatlalela ama advertising wena ngeke stop ukadla. Ngeke stop any even through COVID. COVID goes, yabona ama rules aqala ukuyehla kancane, we come back gradually. But let's forge a proper relationship. And they've been my client ever since, you know, amongst others that we've added in the in the business. And things changed from there. To, you know, bought a house in an estate, started growing as a human being. But if there's one thing I did the best was when things started stabilizing, and I know that now that woman that was my girlfriend, who took care of me back then, is still my wife today.
Shout out.
23 years later.
Shout out.
She's the mother of my 4 kids, Nxabi, and also a 50% shareholder of Street Kids Media.
Shout out. Before we get on Street Kids Media, ungena kanjani acting? Because of ngibonile you involved kubo top la, and yabona ukuthi manje sisiku like ama production okudala.
So remember when I was still in my share, we used to do a lot of TV concepts, we used to do a lot of things, so we'd have a lot of people visit.
Okay.
And I remember this one time Titimba came to the office. And he wanted to. There was a concept we were doing, a car show that was on EPP that he did, and Titimba was heading up the campaign. And I think that day we had a chat with him, and he was like, I want you to meet someone.
Okay.
Took me through Sakriva Sai Ogilvy. When we get to Ogilvy, we go to, now we're not going to the main office. I walk in there in
Sure.
We meet we was heading up this campaign this guy.
Black Brain is here.
Black Brain. Okay. I'm out there. So I chat to them while we're talking in conversation, but nah man. Kuna character lapha ku lockdown. We're working on something yaseje.
Sure.
Siyakufuna.
Yeah.
Do you know what I shot lockdown season 1 to season 5?
The biggest production ever.
While I was still employed with Manche. So every time I shoot, I would take leave. Yes, because I know that I'm needed for a couple of weeks. Every time we shoot, second season, I take leave. So when we sacrifice the leave, was next year, we're shooting the next season. When you're shooting the next season, take leave. You're shooting, because I was a prison warder there.
Yeah.
Next season, kanjalo. And I've been to all the lockdowns. While I'm doing lockdown, obviously now the relationships are growing. Manja's like, character check, but Nxabi top la, I've got a cameo role for you. Junior la Kasha, and I think you can kill it. And that's when La Kasha was born.
Sure.
Did that. While I'm there, he's like, no man, I'm shooting something in Skumba. Tandika's diary. I think you can fit there. When any episode don't funu zwakale. Got there, killed it. Yabo? Ngisase that's what man, you know, when I was so impartial like now I'm out of Spanish and I'm an entrepreneur now.
Sure.
So now I'm easy to manage my time, you know? Then comes a side dish. Now I get a real role, like main cast.
Yeah.
I do side dish season 1 and 2, and I do a lot more. You know, so I was a part of Vulavala. Yeah, I did recently now Deep City. I also shot the Sita. I think my character on the Sita changed the game a little bit. I played the crazy guy Malandela.
Sure.
And I enjoyed it. It was one of the best characters I've ever done. And now we just did a movie called Obsession, which you must just look out for. It's coming out soon.
Okay.
And I think, you know, the journey of forging genuine relationships have brought me closer that way to a point where me and Mandla have become literal brothers, you know, where if he's got an idea, he would call me. I'm thinking of doing this, something of doing that, you know, I'm shooting this thing, I need your advice on there. Same here, if I need advice on business, I'd call him and say, I'm going through this thing, you know, and we've become brothers. So that's how the acting came about.
So how did you remain humble and disciplined? Because of abanye abantu, manga vele TV guy 1-2 nyana ya quit Spain, uzibona seka top.
So if you look at my journey, where I come from, and from what I told you, there's one thing bangifundisa yona ekhaya is sharing, because sikhule sibaningi.
Sure.
You know, there were 28 of us in the house. Sikhule sibaningi. So sharing has always been my thing.
Okay.
And ukhokho wami wangifundisa ukuthi umuntu akahleba, umuntu akalahlwa.
Okay.
Instead of laughing at this guy ukuthi icathulo zakhe zijekile. If you have the means, why ungamthengela isicathulo esiright ukuthi ifane nonke.
Sure.
You know? And those values have been instilled in me from when I was young till today. That you do not laugh at someone else's demise because they don't love being where they are. They didn't put themselves there. As much as you are successful, you did not put yourself there.
Most definitely.
There's a God.
Sure.
Do you understand?
Sure.
There's people who were there for you that even contributed 5 rand. Uthi ugibele yoku-interview. Nale awuthi guy icathulo zakhe zakudala ukuthi ubuke ku-presentable moya kula interview. They played a role in you.
Most definitely.
So who are you now?
Umuntu ngabantu.
Moso ugibele phezu kwesihlahla and think ukuthi manje usabambile.
Eish.
Uzohamba
So bhekela wonke umuntu phansi manje.
So humility is everything, and I think if you put God first in everything you do, like my company doesn't have a CEO. My company has 2 directors, which is me and my wife. Because the CEO is God.
Sure.
He leads, we follow. And that's our basis model of the business.
Shout out to that.
And that helps our business ukuthi si practice integrity as one of our values, respect and delivery. And more than anything, whether usekhona estradini, you are begging, whether you are trying out, whether you've been there and lost it all, respect doesn't have a level of success. Respect doesn't have a position.
Doesn't have an address.
You give it to anyone.
Sure.
Because when God created us, azange athi wena ngizokwenza ube ngcono kunalo. He just gave us the power of free will.
Asikhulume nge-Street Kids Media out here.
Yes, sir.
Yini Street Kids Media sispecialize ngani?
Street Kids Media is a 360 media company. In fact, you know, we are doing this podcast now. We've just transitioned from being a branding and advertising business to becoming a full media agency.
Okay.
You know, through our growth and reputation, you know, there's a company, a creative company called DNA Brand Architects.
Okay.
They now adopted us as their media partners, media buying partners. And as a result, you know, we're working on some big accounts. Microsoft is one of them, Isanti Glass. We're working on Valterra Platinum with their transition into, you know, from Anglo back into the stock exchange. And that was a huge campaign.
Okay.
And we've got some in the pipeline that we're working on. And, you know, shout out to them for believing in us and and seeing, you know, what we're capable of and giving us a chance and throwing us in the deep end.
Sure.
And helping us swim, you know. And I think I'll forever be grateful. And, you know, it is your your reputation that gets you to a place where you don't need to know someone inside to be given an opportunity. Because your name alone and your work has bought you that favor where your name is being mentioned in boardrooms you don't have access to. And you are given opportunities when you're not even there because of the integrity you have and the quality of work and the dedication you put to what you do. And this goes for every entrepreneur also out there. Whether a client is on a 5 rand or on a 500 rand, you treat them like they are your own client.
Treat them equally,
like they are your own client. And that will grow your business. That will grow your brand.
And that's what you also said in your article, living equally. They will kuluma ngayo ukuthi umuntu waseSandton nomuntu wase-Alex, you've learned to treat them equally.
Because boyithula abantu labo are children of God. And boyithula abantu labo are not where they are because by a fool. The universe put them there. So who are you to judge? Which mean I'm better than you? What makes you think you are better than the next person? Because this person has something to offer. They just need an opportunity. And maybe I told they can probably teach you something that you never.
They can even surpass you. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Because I know someone gave me a chance in life, and with the chance that I got, I maximized it to build the little that I have. And I know that someone out there is also waiting for the chance. Some people tend to crime not because they are fool. Because of frustration. I know I'm good at something, but no one's giving me a chance and I'm frustrated. Therefore, I'm not condoning crime, but sometimes I look at these situations and I'm like, I understand where you're coming from. Because when you come out of the jail or whatever, the opportunity to I can see what you've done with it. I mean, Delisa came from incarceration, came back, and he changed the narrative. And look at where he is. I can mention a few. I was Skim GP. Look at what they are doing. These are people who show you which we've always had the capabilities. We just didn't have the opportunities.
And do you know
we made mistakes in life, and now
do you know why you're here?
Yeah.
Like we saw you with Delisa telling your story, and we inspired that we need this story. We can't tell.
And it doesn't end. There's a lot of them. It's just that I always tell you what I can think of.
Most definitely.
The journey of life has been very amazing, and I think I still have a lot more to learn with life. I still have a lot more to give of myself. I still have a lot more to contribute, to my community at large. I don't think I have it all. I don't think I'm better than anyone, but I'm not one who's going to leave the hood and go around telling people that the hood is toxic. What am I doing about it?
Sure. And you always say that.
Because no, I'm not going to go to the hood. The hood is toxic. I can't see what I'm. Okay, what are you doing about it? Maybe you were empowered by God to be in the position you are so that you can change the narrative. What if you were the guy who was ordained to turn the hood into the bird? You may not get it right, but I'm sure you can die trying.
Most definitely.
So then why don't you do it? If you can empower the ones you grew up with, the ones around you, and get them to the level
and I always quote you out here, like new weekend, ushaya around the kasi, ukuthi azosprayela kuphela.
Uzobonisa ukuthi wena uyiboza wena. And mina
yasicindezela manje instead ukuthi usincede ukuthi siphakame sifane nawo.
Mina when I come because and I think this confuses a lot of people. I'd go and chill at a couple of places, with my friends, of course. And they would say, we saw good at Tafule, they popped a champagne. And I love giving people experiences, especially people that are feeling belittled and people that are feeling demotivated. And I'll always take them and say, let's go have lunch in Bryanston. Because I want to give you a feeling of what it's like to live that life. I want to give you a feeling what it's like to have this bottle of whiskey that you can't afford. So that when you go back home, you see yourself and not see a failure. Because someone gave me an opportunity to sit in a table with people I wouldn't be able to approach.
You see yourself, not your failure.
Exactly. Like, if this guy managed to take me to that place and I felt equal to everyone I was sitting with, it means I'm worth something.
Sure.
And now we start working on character. Once character says, now I feel good, I'm capable, then we work on opportunity. Then opportunity says, this man was prepared, now he's ready to face this opportunity. Second fold of it is that a lot of gassy establishments create employment. And for those gassy establishments to sustain that employment, someone needs to support that place. So if I go and support the hangout, if I go and support the weekend, if I go and support what Josie, Slow Chile, I'm not doing it to enrich the owners. I'm doing it to keep the employees sustained. Because we know that come month end, their tips are going to take care of families. Some of them are even in school in Nxabi tip.
Most definitely.
I've met a couple of them that said, Zali, ever since you started coming to our establishment, na qualification.
Sure.
So you may not have enough to give to the whole world,
Yeah.
but you may contribute to little pieces of things that may change people's lives.
Sure.
And I believe that's how we create a value chain. And now when you make it in life, don't forget the ones behind you.
Sure.
Yes, you still have a family, you have siblings, you have cousins, you have a situation at home. I mean, I only managed to build my mother a house 2 years ago.
Oh.
And when I built it, and when I could afford to build my mother a house, I made sure I built her a house of a dream.
Sure.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
The same way, my dad hasn't had a house of his own ever since in 2009. But I made sure I build him a sustainable place enough that he is also comfortable in his 60s and says, Nami, I have a place I call home. And Nami, I was and say, my son did this for me.
Shout out to that. So why Street Kid meet them? Why Street Kids? Why they look at me?
I've always been, billboards are on the side of the road.
Okay.
My job, the branding work I do is on the side of the road.
Sure.
And the advertising I do for FMCG and lower, I hate the word lower market because there is no such thing. But for Emakas, that's where our main focus is. And that's where we go and understand the consumer. That's where we go and understand how to advertise to the consumers without them feeling insulted. Sure. And that's where we were like, we are Street Kids, And this is a media company of kids from Ekasi who tell Kasi stories, who represent Kasi, and who show other young people, even though you came from nothing, your willpower and your faith will never fail you.
Sure. So in closing out, Yami, any message to our Quantum subscribers?
Quantum subscribers, Bafetu, you are not your situation. You are not what you are going through. You are not what happened to you. Because other people are still lingering. There are people who are failing to get through 2025 because they are still dealing with an issue of 2019 that they haven't been past. True. So either someone was sexually harassed and they haven't, because they never spoke about it, they haven't moved past that. But what I'm saying to you is, you are not what happened to you. And you are not the person that did it to you. You are your own human being.
Okay.
And through that pain, I want you to remember that whoever did whatever to you has to face God on their own. It is not your duty to be God and determine what must happen to them. Your duty is to determine what must happen to you. And when you win in life through that pain, that's where your healing will come from.
Sure.
But you are now going to stop living your life, which is why you are on earth to start with. We are not here to live in fancy houses. We are here to breathe. We are here to live and become a part of an ecosystem.
Okay.
So the primary reason you are here is to live, first of all.
Sure.
The second primary reason you are here is to bring the pictures on your mind to reality. And the only way you can do that is learn to forgive, never forget, so that when you remember to forgive again.
Yeah.
And that will give you the peace to become the person you want to be.
Shout out to that. Siyabonga. Thank you for honoring the invitation.
Sure.
And thank you for sharing your story in our platform.
It's a pleasure.
Because of when I share no place story,
Yeah.
but you chose to share your story on our platform. So siyabonga cool, and thank you for inspiring abantu ababhaya baseKasi. Thank you for not forgetting where you come from.
I will never do that.
Shout out to that.
You're welcome, Fitz.
Awe. Ay siyabonga bafethu. Yo hygiene namhlanje yindi le long distance yamampela ke. Sele sisi ku long distance afanda ngiyifilile ukuthi la ngiku long distance, but asifeel still because of story simnandi, si interesting, like ngathi ngasitshela more and more, but because of time
maybe so part 2 one day.
Yeah. Part 2 loading bafethu. Part 2. So that's it from me, your boy Chem Stage. All I can say is 8 Awe.